really just
What'd that do to your spirit?
tore a hole in me. I couldn't. They were expecting too much. Through the cracks, like gave up. The guilt and shame had just kept me in my active addiction, and no matter how hard people loved me, I just couldn't get it. I had the 12 steps. I was going to programs, and I caught some sobriety by doing the 12 steps, and having a relationship with God, and working the program, fellowshipping, sponsors, the big book, making meetings, working with new people. And, but there was still a hole inside. Steps. They taught me to deal with the underlying issues that kept me spiritually bankrupt for years. Unresolved family issues, my distorted belief systems.
All right, good morning, everybody, or good evening, good day, whatever I guess it depends on what time you're catching this. I'll probably put it out in the evening, so good evening. Um, my name is Dalton. I'm your host here at the Resolutions Healthcare Podcast, and I have a very special guest with me today. Good friend, current client. His name is Brian. So we're gonna have a conversation today about his journey through life, his journey into addiction, and his journey now coming out of addiction. And we're gonna stop and talk about some stuff that happened along the way. So um, I hope you enjoy this conversation. If you like discussions like this, be sure to hit that like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you're notified every time we drop a new video. So today, like I said, Brian, just start us out with telling our listeners a little bit about yourself. Who are you outside of addiction?
My name is Brian, and I'm an addict. And outside of addiction, people that know me, family, friends, loved ones, they all say when I'm not using, I'm the most caring, compassionate, loving, good-hearted person they know. I give 100% and everything. I'm a hard worker, and I love helping others. And yeah, when I'm using, I just a really different person. Lose all sense of right and wrong.
Mm, yeah. Before you touched on being a hard worker and things, but really stop and tell us about before before substances became a part of your life. What was life like for Brian?
Before substances,
Yeah.
I was born in Galveston, Texas. Came from my mother and father both worked at a hospital. Um, thought I had the normal upbringing.
Okay.
Soccer mom after work.
Okay.
Dad worked. He drank, but he taught me. They raised me in a loving Christian home. There was no sexual or physical abuse. It was just, but there wasn't a lot of emotion. I love yous and this and that. It was just you're going to succeed and be successful, and it
There wasn't a lot of I love yous and
wasn't a
things
lot of
like
I
that.
love yous. It was not very, my parents were not very emotional.
Okay.
So I felt abandoned, and spiritually, I mean, neglected emotionally. Um,
Did they show they might not have shown emotion in the I love yous and things like that? Did they show the opposite side of that emotion with anger or anything like
um,
that?
well,
Or was it just
it was you're going to succeed, and otherwise you're going to be a failure.
okay,
Um, they argued a lot. Dad drank a lot. He wasn't abusive in any way to mom, but I blamed myself as a child. My brother did too. What are we doing wrong? Um,
y'all blamed yourself
we
for his
blamed
drinking?
ourselves for their arguing. It's
Okay.
our fault, my fault. And I carried that over for a long time. I got to be better. I got to be a better son to make mom and dad happy. So I had to excel in everything. And if I didn't, I was letting them down. Um, it was just, it was the guilt at a young age.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, dad, dad taught me they instilled morals and values and the right and wrong. I was an average student, played a lot of sports. I was in soccer, started tennis at age 7.
Really?
And from the, yeah, and I excelled in tennis. I gave up soccer just to focus on tennis.
Okay.
My dream was to be a doctor. at a young age. My dad worked at a hospital. Mom worked at the hospital, and uh, I wanted to be in the medical field from a young age. Um, I enjoyed playing tennis. I wanted to carry that as far as I could, and they pushed me into going to tennis camps and school and in
Did
the
you
summer.
enjoy that?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But as I got older, um, in high school, it became a chore more than but lost the enthusiasm, or
Lost the
I
love
lost
for
the
it.
love for the sport
Mm.
because I was pushed to be the best, and I wasn't living up to that. I was the best at my school, but when I played other schools, I was getting beat. My family's like, "Man, you need to play harder, practice harder. You can be the best." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Man, I'm feeling I can't beat some people," and really just
What that do to your spirit?
tore a hole in me. I couldn't. They were expecting too much. I couldn't live up to it. And so I started withdrawing, and
Withdrawing from.
from wanting to succeed. I would fly under the radar. I felt more comfortable, less expectations, you know. But at this time, I was doing some drinking in high school,
Yeah.
and introduced to marijuana, and so I was more focused on marijuana, alcohol, and dating, and just more of a party life. I still played tennis. Had scholarship, partial scholarship, and my grandfather footed the bill for the rest of the school.
Yeah. Where to?
A&M.
A&M.
I had a partial scholarship, and
Giggle Mags.
gave them eggs, and so off I go. And but I was drinking and smoking marijuana, and I'd just been introduced to cocaine. And
Are you at college at this
I'm at
point?
college at this time.
Okay.
This would have been 1984. Um, I stayed. I didn't study. Focused at this time. I'm out for the first time on my own. I had a vehicle and money in the account. Just wanted to party.
You had freedom, and
I had
that
freedom.
freedom, it got
Right.
the best of you.
Right. At this time, I spent wasn't doing any work. Stayed high, and in 8 months I was broke. Spent all my 4 years college money in 8 months. And my family's like, "You have a problem." And went to my first treatment program. Went back to Galveston. And I didn't play tennis for another 15 years. Yeah, in and out of rehabs, and just fell through the cracks. Like, gave up. The guilt and shame that just kept me in my active addiction. And no matter how hard people loved me, I just couldn't get it.
So that kind of runs us right into our to the next question I wanted to ask you. And you kind of hit on it a little bit. Started drinking and smoking a little bit of pot in high school. You get to college, you got freedom. You're a big shot now. Giggle Mags.
Right.
You get introduced to cocaine, and so that's where you kind of first got you dabble into drinking and pot before,
Right.
but when you got to college and you were free,
Right.
that's when it is that when it really took a hold?
Pretty much. The more I used, the more people liked me. Um, the insecurities of belonging, the more I used, the better I felt, the more I was sociable.
Okay.
I was able to interact with people better, talk to women better, and
Yeah.
just overall. So and I started to realize deep down that this is becoming a problem.
Mm.
Um, but I thought I could stop at any time. That was my belief. I could stop at any time, turn my life around, get back on track.
You thought that during those first 8 months?
Yes, yes. Um, and then I dropped out of school, and I'm like, well, I'll go in a couple of years. I'll go next year. All my friends are still in school. They're going to different schools, Baylor and here and there. They're going to be lawyers and doctors and whatever. Uh, uh, I just I said I'll catch up to y'all next year. And
Yeah.
next year never came. So
What do you mean?
I'd given up on the hope of going to school.
Okay.
I was so deep into my addiction at this time that every dollar I had, whether I started stealing from my family, using their credit cards, cashing their checks, and stealing their possessions,
Mm.
and started going to jail for my behavior for stealing and writing checks. Ended up going to prison, spent um, a lot of time in prison due to my addiction.
Okay.
I had the 12 steps. I was going to programs, and I caught some sobriety by doing the 12 steps, and having a relationship with God, and working the program, fellowshipping, sponsors, the big book, making meetings, working with new people. And, but there was still a hole inside. I'd get all this stuff, quality of life back, and I was empty, and I
Okay.
couldn't figure out why. And I would sabotage it. I would just start using it again.
Let me stop you right there. So you go to college, you blow all your money within the first 8 months, drop out of school, have the thought, hey, I'll catch up with you guys. I'll be back next year to start school, finish school. You still want to be a doctor at this
Right.
point.
Yes.
Um, so then, you drop out of school, you're not gonna go back, you lose hope for that. What impact did that and the rest of your using, what impact did that have on your relationships?
With my family, um, dad was an enabler.
Okay.
Mom was a tough love. Um, I could do no wrong in dad's eyes. But the relationship with my family deteriorated. They didn't trust me. They put me out of their house. My relationships with employers, I couldn't hold a job because of my addiction. I would steal from the job, write company checks, forgeries. That's why I went to prison for forgery. Um, Relationships with girlfriends were they were unhealthy because of my addiction. I would steal from them. When I'm sober, I was giving 100%. When I start using, it's all narcissistic. It's all about me getting high, nothing else. Relationship didn't matter. I disappear for weeks at a time, show up like nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
I expected them to bend over backwards and say, "Hey,
Right. I mean, and that's the definition of an addict, right?
right,
It's all about me. I
right,
just care about getting high, getting my fix. I don't care about nothing else. If I gotta steal, I gotta steal. It don't matter. We're just gonna do what addicts gonna do, what addicts gonna do
that's it."
until you find that bottom, until you want to rebuild. So it was, would you say it was detrimental to your
It was
relationships?
detrimental. Um, I went to San Antonio to rehab in 1985. I was 19. I was fresh out of school, and I was downtown. I was homeless at the time,
Okay.
using IV drugs. I didn't know I had hepatitis C at the time, which I found out later, which
Okay.
is from drug use.
Yeah.
I'm downtown homeless, and I saw a Army recruiter office. And so I went in there, and I went in there, and they lined me up. I said, I need some help. I want to get out of this life I'm living. I want to go into the military. They offered the GI Bill. They'd send me to school. So I was going to be I wanted to be a paramedic in the military.
Okay.
So I went through all that, took the test. I was sworn in, but in between, waiting on to go to into they were placing me in placement. I caught a charge. I caught a burglary of a vehicle, and then that was before the forgeries. The forgeries came later. So the recruiter came and basically just said we can't use you in the military, and so those dreams were shattered. I had my first felony.
Okay. Was from the time you went to the recruiter, you was
Right,
getting all that lined up.
right.
Were you still in active
Active
use?
addiction. Active addiction.
So it was coming up on time for your placement, and
Right.
you were still just you were wanting to get out of that lifestyle, but it still had you by the throat, and before you could get placed and off somewhere, you caught that charge.
And the recruiter knew I was homeless
Yeah.
and I was an addict. He's like, just hang in there. We'll get you. We'll get you. Just stay out of trouble. And but I had the grips of addiction were so bad. I just made some bad decisions.
Yeah.
So I lost that dream.
Mm.
And it got worse from there. Never gets better. Um, just continue to spiral
So it's just
downhill.
life keeps going downhill
Downhill,
for a little bit.
right? And yeah, vehicle wrecks, loss of life in an accident, which I was responsible for.
Mm.
And then backdoored it with another motorcycle wreck under the influence, which major surgery. Um, but yet I still thought I could handle it. I have this. I'll get it under control. Um, went into the refineries to work,
Yeah.
and but then again, I couldn't pass a urinalysis, so
Mm.
I'd get laid off. Um, fought this addiction. I went to multiple treatments, and they just pushed 12 steps, 12 steps, 12 steps, do this, do that, but it still didn't. Any life would get better, but I was still having that emptiness inside. Um, why does everybody else seem so content and happy and have peace, not me? Um, so I would fall back into addiction. It was that big voice inside my head just tells me it's going to be all right. You know, um,
So how old are you at this point
uh,
working in those refineries?
my early 20s.
Early 20s? Do you still just have that one time in rehab right now?
No, actually, I went to back treatments.
Okay.
'Cause went to multiple treatments in about a 3 year span. Just could. I was young. I still thought I could use successfully.
Right.
It's a party drug.
Yeah.
Partying, having fun. I'll get back on track eventually. And but this time I'm in full blown addiction. Didn't get better. Relationships with my family, they didn't know what to do. Um, my relationships with my friends, they cut ties with me. They said we have wife, family, kids, jobs. We can't live the lifestyle you're living. We're no longer welcome in our house.
Right.
We can't trust you. I was unreliable. Word meant nothing. I cheated, stole, and lied from everybody that ever loved me.
Mm.
People in the program, the sponsors, they tried to help me out financially, and but they knew where the money was going. They're like, well, in hopes that I would come to them and ask for help. But that ego and pride, I couldn't admit defeat.
Yep.
I couldn't reach out for help. Um, I'd rather stay in active addiction than ask you for help.
So right there, pride and ego detrimental to our recovery. Pride and ego keep anybody from succeeding. I read a quote the other day and I reposted it on social media. A man said, "A man led by God will outlast a man led by ego." You know, when we let that ego lead us, when we let pride lead us, one, it can only get us so far, and two, pride and ego don't want us to talk about our mistakes. Pride and ego won't let us be vulnerable with other people and let people in and ask for help. You know, if we would just ask for help when we go through all this stuff, ask for it and actually mean it and follow through with it, then we could get help. But that ego, that pride says, no, it's a party drug. It's all right. It's just a little drinking. You're fine. You can do it. You can be normal. People all the time have a 9 to 5 job and they drink when they get home, have a little cocaine. So it's fine. Is that kind of what you was dealing with?
Um, kind of. But my addiction was so severe that I finally got to the point where I lost all hope of ever getting sober, staying sober, and I was okay with that. My ego and pride wouldn't, like you said, there was plenty of help out there. I just wasn't able. The disease had me in such a grip that I walked away from everything and couldn't humble myself to say and admit utter defeat.
Right. So
Um,
what so who was the person or what was the thing that helped you take those first steps into recovery once you figured out this has got to change?
well, what got me into recovery this time at this age that I'm at now,
Okay.
um, I was 59 years old. I lost my mother, father, and brother all in the last year.
Lord help.
Yes, and it was devastating. I was crushed.
Mm.
Um, so I do. I got to a home. I was homeless in the streets of Houston, Texas. Um, and I switched. I couldn't afford to do cocaine anymore, so I went to another drug. And I was homeless, uh, panhandling and stealing every day to support a habit. I'd lost 50 pounds in 3 months, and I got robbed twice. Um, and I did not care whether I lived or died at that moment. I was, I thought I was going to die out here, and I was okay with that.
Wow.
And I was in the hospital twice in the last 4 months before coming to where I'm at now. And my body had just shut down. It quit working. And God worked through people to save my life. He put people in my life, and I was sitting down on a park bench, and I had a moment of clarity. I said, I don't want to die. I want to live. Now I reached and I was talking to God. What do I do? You've always been there. You've been with me. What do I need to do? Change my life. I'm 59 years old. Um, I was at the bottom. And I've hit bottom after bottom after bottom. This was a spiritual low, and just given up. But I reached out for help, and I ended up where I'm at today in Hidden Oaks. And it's not just about the 12 steps. They taught me to deal with the underlying issues that kept me spiritually bankrupt for years. Unresolved family issues, my distorted belief systems, um, and, uh, and the reason I did what I did and couldn't love myself. Um, they taught me that 12 steps are great. 12 steps saved my life many times. God's always been there with me, always.
Yeah.
I never turned. I mean, He's always been there.
Amen.
He saved me from death many times.
Amen.
Um, but deep down, I still had morals and beliefs and values that my family instilled.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've learned here is to deal with the underlying issues, to find some beauty in my past and that collateral beauty that they talk about, and to go through that grief and that shame and guilt and find the joy in it
Yeah.
and the beauty and that life is going to, but it takes work.
Yes.
You
Definitely.
know?
We can't change the past, but we got to deal with the
Yeah.
past. The past is what it is. We
Right.
can't change it, but we got to make peace with it. Um, if there's no peace, we're gonna keep coming back
Yep.
to this. We're gonna keep relapsing. We're gonna keep falling back. And Benny talks a lot about band-aids.
Right.
Uh, if we don't if we don't deal with those past unresolved traumas and life events, we're just going through recovery, slapping a band-aid on it, and we all know that adhesive on them band-aids, it ain't too strong. It's gonna rip off at
Right.
some point. Um, and when it does, we're gonna get hit with all these emotions again, and that's most of the time when people end up relapsing. So, what do you think has what do you think has made the biggest difference for you in recovery? I know it's hard to narrow it down, but what do you think about that?
Living in the present, enjoying the moment, having peace in my life today, which I haven't had in years, a long, long time, decades. Uh, the love of life and people. And I'm not forgetting the past. The past is the past, like you said, but I'm working through that grief of the loss of my loved ones and some other issues that from the way my parents raised me. I've learned to deal with it and to be of help and service to other people. That's where I find joy and contentment is getting out of myself and just serving others. And in that, I find joy in helping other people. But God is playing a big part in my life. My understanding. I'm more of a spiritual person. Doesn't have, and just doing the next right things. Because if I'm not happy and have joy and peace in my life, I'm going to use. And sobriety can be fun.
Right.
And I'm learning here about, just laughter for the first time in years, genuine laughter and tears in my eyes of joy.
Yeah.
The people in my life today, everybody here is on the same page. Clients, I'm able to develop healthy friendships and relationships, which I haven't had in years. Um,
How long have you been here?
I've been here 36 days,
36 days.
and that's 36 days in the last 20 years.
Wow. Amen.
And I've had some sobriety, but I haven't had the peace that I have today, and the
Right.
joy and laughter and friendships. I feel hopeful for the first time. Um, like I said, I'm 59 years old. Um, it's a new chapter in my life, new beginning, and um, it's an eye opener here. I wish I could have found a place like this 40 years ago, because
What were without naming any names, you've told us you went to multiple treatment centers. You've what were those treatment centers like?
I went to Louisiana, I went to Chicago, I went to Minnesota. It's treatment, and hoping to hear an answer or a solution to my problems. Yeah, 12 steps, 12 steps. Everywhere I go, they give you a big book at the 30 days, give you a medallion, you graduated, make some meetings, find a sponsor, work the steps, work with people, and you'll make it. I'm like, man, I could have heard this back home. I'm hearing the same message: 12 steps, 12 steps. 12 steps are great, but there's so much more to recovery. Um, and this is what I've learned here: is learn about there's other aspects of recovery. I take a little bit of this, a little 12 steps. I take spirituality. I take my belief systems and work on some core issues that keep me alive, keep me in check on an everyday basis. I wake up in prayer. I close my day in prayer, and I try to stay in an attitude of prayer and service throughout the day. What a blessing, man.
So
Awesome.
that's that daily spiritual practice that helps keep you grounded.
Exactly.
We definitely got to implement some things in recovery and start some things in treatment that we're going to continue on when we get out of treatment, because you know better than anyone 30, 60, 90 days ain't going to fix you.
Like you said, usually that 30 days is just a band-aid.
Right.
I haven't dealt with anything. I haven't looked at my life or my past issues and dealt with them. So I make some meetings, I find a sponsor, I'm working with people, and the band-aid falls off.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how that it's healed now. It's healed. Those scars are healed or healing.
Healing. Yeah, there you go.
I'll never be well. It's a daily journey.
Right.
The
But
end
just continue with those daily spiritual practices and those daily good habits that give you joy, that bring you peace, that bring you recovery and healing.
Yes.
And we got to continue those post treatment.
Right.
Because 30, 60, 90 days will not fix a person.
Don't.
We're getting you back on track. We're kind of putting you on a launch pad, but the work doesn't stop here. Family members say all the time, you know, I hear clients say they discharge and they get home and their parents, their loved ones expect them to be a different person, a totally different person. Expect them to be healed from their addiction. It doesn't work like that.
I've been through that. I had 2.5 years cleaning one time.
Okay.
And I was around my family, and they're like, man, I'm like, why don't y'all trust me yet? They said, we've seen this before. We've seen this before. We're ingrained. Your track record shows us that you're going to relapse. And they were hoping for the best, and you know, and but they knew deep down in their heart from my track record that I would use again. And so I expected immediate 30 days, 60, 90 days. Can't you see I'm sober? I'm doing great. And they said, no, we've seen this before. We don't, and I thought, well, how dare they, I expected everybody just to uh, just pat me on the back and say, good job, well done. But I hadn't done any work. I was just clean. Looking back on it, I understand their fear. And because they've been through it. It got to a point where they finally said, well, we don't want you in our life anymore. What do you mean? So, he said, you're tearing the family apart. He said, there's more to life than you. We have other loved ones. We have grandkids, and we have a life, and you're destroying it. And that was a hard pill to swallow.
Right.
So I had to really take a look at that. But I mean, I love my family dearly, um, but I couldn't stay sober for them. Couldn't stay sober for my girlfriend. I couldn't stay sober for the job. Could not stay clean because I always thought I could beat the system. It would be different this time, and it never was. And and they died never seeing me draw a sober breath. And but like I said, that's that unresolved grief, and I'm learning to deal with it. But the last thing that I heard from all of them was, "I love you," and I was able to tell them I love them.
Amen.
So that gives me a little peace, and I know they're up there in heaven now. Uh, uh, they're smiling because of they see that I can tell that. I mean, in my heart, I feel that they see the changes that I'm making in my life. It's never too late. Never too late. No matter how far down the scale I thought I'd gone, I want to live. We all have the desire to live.
Right.
Deep down. It's just a matter of asking for help. Like I said, that ego and pride, man. That voice inside my head, I got a big voice and a little voice. Little voice is always whispering. That's God. He's always there. And he got me to where I'm at today. So grateful to have another opportunity at life. It's going to take a lot of hard work, um, but the alternative is I know what the alternative is: back to the streets or death.
Yeah.
And I want to live today.
Yeah.
I want friends. I want laughter, joy, peace, and I have that today. And but to keep that, I have to continue to do some stuff. I'm getting ready for the next phase of my journey, sober living. Because what's a year of my life after I've done 40 years of addiction?
Right.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah.
I want to give myself a chance. Because really feel this is I have another relapse. People say, oh, but do I have another? Will I get back in the program? You know, and I'm like, no, I don't think I'll make it back. But really, in my heart, I don't think if I went out and used it, I would make it back to the rooms of AA or into a program like this. Um, and I don't want that. I want to live. I want to be happy. You know.
Amen. So if you could sit, we'll call this our bit of advice closing section. If you could sit with someone who's struggling right now, what would you tell that person?
No matter how far down you've gone, there, uh, there is hope. There's always hope. Reach out for help. Ask. Guilt and shame just just will tell you to stay out there. There is hope. I'm 59 years old. I'm so you can learn something new. It's never too late. Give yourself a chance. Um, wish everybody could find a place like where I'm at right now, the Hidden Oaks, man. I mean, it saved my life. It turned my life. It gave me new direction. It showed me that I can live a healthy, productive life. But I have to do some work. First step is reaching out. You I was homeless on a park bench with a bag full of clothes, and that's all I had to my name. I made a decision. I wanted help. I didn't want to live like that anymore. Never too late.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian's talking about reaching out. You can reach out to us. You can reach out to us at I believe it's 469-614-8407. You can visit resolutionshealthcare.com. You can fill out fill out a form on there about an inquiry to treatment. You can check out our podcast, our blogs, our treatment center, and know what you're getting into. Um, but Brian, it's been an honor and a pleasure working with you over the last month, and you were somebody that came into treatment ready for a change, tired of living like hell, and when we live like hell, we get the consequences of that. Uh, but you turn that around. You do the hard work. You're in groups. You're doing your daily spiritual practices. So you're doing the things that are keeping you in a good mindset. Now the chore is to continue doing those things post treatment into sober living, into the next step of your life after that. I know that's a ways down the road, and but we just keep grinding it out day after day. Stay focused, stay busy, keep working. And man, I'm proud, not just proud of you, I'm proud to call you my friend because you're somebody that, knows what he wants and ain't afraid to push for it. Um, even when even when life's gave you some hard blows. You know, sometimes we're brought up under circumstances that we have no control over. And then the other half of the time we're making choices and giving ourselves consequences that aren't healthy, that aren't good. So we got to deal with those as well. But I think you're an image of somebody that has has done their time partying, literally done some time in the pen, but still continues to look for the glass half full, still continues to look for that sobriety, because once you give up, that's it, you're done. It's easy to go back. It's easy to relapse. If I stand up on this chair right now, it's easier for you to pull me down than it is for me to pull you up. Think about that as you're going through life. It's easier for the environment you surround yourself with. It's easier for the friends that you have to pull you down than it is to pull them up a lot of times. That's why we got to be surrounding ourselves with healthy people, places, and things. Keeping a good attitude, working on mending those relationships, or if we can't mend them, just starting new relationships that are healthy and joyous. Um, your daily spiritual practices, they motivate me because I know you do it like clockwork. And I know you're in that AA book every morning. And, that grit and determination, man, that's something to be proud of, something to hang your hat on. I don't get too big headed. I'm pumping you up over here, but you're doing good, man. You're doing good, man. I got high hopes for you. I appreciate you coming on the podcast today. I know this is going to touch somebody out there and give them some encouragement and motivation to be sober. So, that's all we can ask for is one more soul, one more person to find recovery. So, hope y'all enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the next one.